everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwin. I get joined by everybody today. What fun. Hey, we're going to start out with volleyball action. We've got head coach Joe Morales. Joe, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Every time I hear you roll that R, it's awesome. What a day.
I practice it all the way here from Jefferson. I got 2 hours of warming up for that. Hey, man, long 4-game stretch against the very top of the Southland Conference, and it was rough going. But for the Lion faithful, there's still hope for playoffs, tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a lot of hope for us. I think, we had a great start the first week. We got that tough stretch. Made it through it. Now we got to come back, buckle down, and take care of business and the final stretch.
You know, I guess everybody starts scoreboard and standings watching right now. The Lions are kind of, 5th or 6th? Excuse me, no, they're down like at 8 or 9.
I believe, yeah.
But the top 8 are going to go. And the teams that you're jammed up, you've got like half the conference is within a game or two of the Lions.
Yeah. We're looking at that, and I talk about to my team a lot of, just the logistics of scheduling and where we're at in terms of seeding. And, like I said, we had a great start with the 3-0 run, and then we got the tough pack there, number 1, number 2, and number 4 team. And now we're going to play the middle of the pack. And so I think I like our odds. I like where we're at. And so the numbers and everything can shift within a week or two, and that's what we're counting on. And, full throttle from here. So there's still some good volleyball to be played.
Do you ever have to take it so far as to, look, all these teams that we're in the standings with, they haven't played them yet.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. And, in terms of who we're matching up with and, that week who's matching up with who. And so we try to be as transparent with our team as possible with that and let them know, like, look, there's still opportunity here. There's a lot of teams that we saw early that had not seen the teams that we saw these past 2 weeks. So they still got to go through them as well. So, it's I think the biggest thing is being able to keep the morale up. I mean, we're playing good volleyball. We're just playing to a top teams, contenders. And so I think I like what we're doing on the court. We just got to make sure we keep on doing that to the other teams as well.
Health-wise, you're still missing one of your big outside arms, but everybody else okay?
Yeah, no.
I thought you had one of your right winger or.
Oh, no, we had our setter that was out with concussed. So that forced one hitter to sit out because we were running a 5-1. But no, everyone's back on throttle. We had a great practice this morning, and everyone's gunning. So
all right,
we like our chances right now.
So you've got a little bit of a breather part of the schedule here. Yeah. Instead of 2 matches every week, you've got one, and it's going to be Saturday afternoon, and it's going to be at 1:00. Yeah. And it'll be right here in Commerce.
Yeah, we're playing Houston Christian will come down, and I think they're in the middle of the pack right now, and I think that, they're similar to UIW. So that's we took UIW, and, I think that, anywhere between that 5 and 8 category are pretty competitive, but I think we're right in the mix with them, too. So we're looking for a good game. We just got to be disciplined a little bit. They are a good team, and they've not only been a good team, but they dropped some tough ones too, or have gone 5 the distance with some others. And so we just got to be on our game at that point, and I think we have a really good shot against them. So it gives us a break with only 1 game this week, as well as next week too. So, yeah.
Indeed. You'll have you'll go to Thibodaux and take on Nichols. Man, I tell you, we always talk about home court advantage in basketball. What about in volleyball? What about who's got the home juice in the Southland Conference?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think those are the gyms that usually pack it in. I think, it's tough to play at SFA. That's a crowd that gets with you a little bit.
Right.
I also think it's tough to play. Oh, gosh. Corpus Christi can jam their gym in just as much. So it just depends on the crowd that they get. I think normally the home crowd is, in a volleyball game, it's about the fans. It's how loud it is and whatnot. And we prepare for that as well. So we know that, hey, if we're going to a gym that's going to be loud, then we kind of mimic that on the practice. And so what it's going to be like, I'll be yelling at the top of my lungs, and you have no idea what I'm saying. So we try to prepare for that as much as possible with signals and being prepped for situations like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think the home court advantage is it's crucial to us. I like playing at home. I think our kids are comfortable with it. They feel comfortable with their own fans here, but any home court gym that's rocking, it can be difficult to play in.
So are there any campus groups that have just kind of like adopted the volleyball team as well as the rest of the fans, but they're there and they make all kinds of extra noise for you?
Here I think we have a lot of different groups that come out. I know some from the rec center. We have some of our kids that work at the rec center. I think it's just a variety of the student body that just loves watching volleyball. I mean, I'll be walking out and hear, "Hey, coach, like looking forward to your game," and it's a random student, and I'm like, "Absolutely, let's go." So,
yeah.
The fact that the news is out there and it's getting everyone in here like that's awesome. So we just got to get back on track with winning, and our goal is to get to the conference tournament. So that hasn't changed, and I think we still have a lot of. We talked about that a little bit about just feeding the positive energy, and let's not get these 2 weeks the tough weeks that we had put us down a little bit.
Right.
Let's know that we're still playing really good volleyball. We just played really tough teams early on. So that's the basis. And I think our kids are bought into that.
All right. Well, folks, Saturday, 1 o'clock, that would be earlier than the Lions kicking off. A&M Commerce football kicks off on the road at 3:30. So you can be here 1 o'clock, catching all the action, and then go tune into your favorite broadcasters.
That's right. Come on out, guys. Come on out.
Line up, everybody. Hang on. We've got more Inside Lion Athletics right after this. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. We've talked volleyball. Now it's time to spend a little time with Athletic Director Jim Curry. You just got in from Houston last night. These travels are fun, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a busy week.
Yeah.
And then turned right back around, had conference meetings Monday night and then Tuesday all day yesterday. And actually, we started early and went late. There's that much going on. But really, really good. A lot of issues. We talked about a few of them, of course. We really got the day started talking about the NSA case, and it's good to get just the ADs in the room to talk about kind of how they're going to try to navigate an arena and a world that no one's ever seen, and they're still sorting out some of the details.
Is everybody's mindset kind of the same, or are there some real ends of the spectrum?
I would say there's different ends of the spectrum. You've got schools in a different boat in a couple different respects. And I think what's really going to happen through this is, for a long time in the NCAA, what we would do is we would legislate competitive equity. And we'd try to take all these different individual comparative advantages out of the equation and make everybody as equal as we possibly could. Well, I think everybody realized at some point here recently that's not really possible. Everybody's got different things that are advantages for them relative to others and things that are disadvantages relative to others. And so, and I think, and then on top of it, I think there was some untenability in the legal environment with the previous construct. And so I think what you've seen is now, and I've kind of talked about this with our staff and coaches, is comparison's the thief of joy, right? And so the days of trying to go through the checklist or menu of items of, all right, well, do we have nutrition? Yep. Do we have cost of attendance? Yep. Do we've got the 17th quality control? Yep. Okay. Kind of do that benchmarking and comparison across institutions. Those days are gone, and it's a good thing because now you've got to do your own individual assessment about where you want to take your investment, where you want to target it to maximize that return. And not just from a competitive perspective, but from a student-athlete experiential perspective, from an academic outcomes perspective, and a competitive perspective. And what your formula or mix is may be different than another institution's.
Sure.
And that's okay.
Well, every school in a conference or in the entire NCAA has some unique property about it.
That's exactly right.
And if all you, this might be oversimplifying, but if all you athletic directors are following the same checklist everywhere in the name of that competitive balance, Y'all are just managers.
Oh, well, right. And again, the reality is one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
And for us, you look at our growth trajectory as a university, you look at the academic programs that we offer our student athletes and the quality of them. You look at our recruiting footprint. We don't have to travel far to get exceptional athletes, that are in our footprint, whereas, another institution has got to go a long way to get quality recruits. The opportunity for work experience or job growth opportunities once they get done with their degree, being right at the doorstep here in the DFW. The kind of family environment, do you want to be in a smaller, kind of more intimate setting, or do you want to be in an urban city environment, right? I mean, and every kid's a little bit different too. And that's the one thing that I think is really important, is that every prospective student, whether an athlete or not, will value all these different variables in different ways. And that's okay. It's okay. And that's kind of where I'm actually kind of happy we've gotten to this place, because, again, I think if we can take all the different, comparative benchmarking about who's got what and who doesn't have what and what we've got versus relative to others or don't have, and we just, again, lock in, focus on ourselves, identify what our comparative advantages are, lean into those, invest in certain areas, and try to maximize that return, then we're going to be in a good spot.
When all of you athletic directors get together, do you talk about the conference size? Do you talk about, do we bring in anybody else? And if we do, how do we manage it?
Yeah, conference realignment is always a conversation, but I would tell you it was a very enlightening conversation. So there we had there's a consultant in that realignment space who's basically works with every league to some shape or form across the country, but has a really good pulse on what's going on nationally. And he kind of ran us through basically all the different, things in play right now across the country. I would say that it's more than what anybody would probably anticipate or what you're hearing about. And just all the different, machinations that are out there and how the dominoes can fall. And we're just scratching the surface. And there could be a ton of change across the entire landscape even before we get to the new year. But I would say relative to us in the Southland, these are good conversations to have, just to be attentive to what's going on out there. But we still continue to feel pretty good about our mix. And again, things change. They change very quickly in our space.
Boy, the Southland did real fast.
Yeah, right, exactly.
When Chris Grant took over, and it was in a shaky spot there. And
well,
who knew that A&M Commerce would be the glue that pulls it all together?
That's right. Commerce put it all together. But to your point, I mean, that full arc has really only been, 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not even, less than. So that's how quickly things can go in this space, both kind of good and bad, right, or up and down. And I mean, we're in a great spot right now to be a league where you've got people that want to join your league from other Division I conferences. That's when you're in a pretty good spot. And obviously, we added 2 great properties in SFA and RGV, and you're seeing what's happening on the playing fields as well.
Yeah,
I mean, they're helping elevate the rest of the league and the profile. And so, again, I think everybody walked out of that room continuing to feel really good about the 12 members we've got. We know what's going on in the landscape right now. I would say that, at least for us, there's probably not anything imminent at this point in time, but we just continue to be attentive to and see what's happening out there. So, but we feel really good about the 12 we got. I think that's fair to say.
Yep. Change is just coming all the time, whether you expect it or not.
Now, the other thing, too, that was cool about that is I think we touched on this briefly, but we're getting into the last year of our current television agreement with ESPN. And as we go back to the table and you look at, again, 2 of the properties that we were able to bring into the league, the growth of the league, what we've been able to do, particularly in football, basketball, but across all of our sports, the quality of the production that we're continuing to try to grow and improve, and the volume that we bring to it, we think we're going to be well positioned for this next round of conversations in the TV space. I think ESPN has been a good partner, and we'll continue to look to see. But there is some conversations going on with some others as well, just to see what the market looks like for us. But it was great to hear that from our current TV partner that they have seen the growth and the value that the Southland provides from the last time we had this conversation. And I think that's a credit to everybody, us included, about what we've been able to deliver and provide in terms of quality of play within the larger ecosystem.
How many players, there can't be that many, that are in the media business big enough to take on a Division I conference? Flow Sports, I think, is another.
Yep.
I think they have a little more footprint in the Division II ranks.
Yeah, and they've got the CAA right now too. So
okay.
What's really interesting? So when you go into that room and we're partnered with some of the best media experts in the space, but they started off the presentation by showing who are all the different platforms within the space, both linear and digital. Showing where some of these other conference deals are stacking up when they come to an end. What are some of the other rights deals in the professional space that impact the college space come up, and what that whole matrix looks like. The other thing they've been studying is also consumer habits in terms of, okay, how many different platforms are people willing to purchase and consume at the same time? And that's kind of plateaued. It's sitting at about 4 to 5 per household. So that's a really important analysis in this whole thing, because if you're not with one of the current partners that command a large portion of the market share, so that's your E+, your Netflix, your Hulu, your Peacocks, your Max, those types of folks, then what you're asking, and then you see a plateauing of the number of platforms that what people are willing to purchase and have at the same time, then you probably have to be attentive to being with one of those partners or those platforms that has a larger piece of the market share right now. Because if not, you're betting on people to do something different than what the larger consumer habit is right now by adding a new platform.
Right.
Now, again, there can be that can be worth it, if it's the right deal. But, not only are you trying to be attentive to what the micro environment is for your individual conference, but if you're not paying attention to the broader consumer habits and the macro environment about what's going on in the college and really just sports rights landscape, then you're missing important pieces of the puzzle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, we learn something new every week.
I think I do too.
You should. That's why we send you to the meetings, Jim.
So, but we also we talked about just the quality of within the league, and one of the things we talked about was from the football side. So yesterday was the first meeting of the football playoff committee. We have a representative on there from Houston Christian. He said, there's probably 4 teams in the league right now that are in consideration, which is great. We think we're a multi-bid league, and what we can do with football, FCS football. But I think one of the things that's been really a key metric for us is, as a league, we're 6-4 against the Big Sky, which is arguably the best league
that's
in the country.
Top.
And so that's a heck of a metric going into the room, that your league is performing as well as it has against arguably the best league in the country, right? And so again, I think it continues to just demonstrate the quality of play within the league. And mind you, one of those 4 losses to the Big Sky was was our game against Davis, where we had the ball driving late with a chance to win the game, right?
Yep.
So, not only were we playing, but even in winning games against them, but even in the games that we may have lost, we're competing as well. So, that's a testament to the league and where it's going. We did talk about football scheduling. We did approve a 25 schedule in the conference, so we're going to be able to get the football schedule out probably earlier than we have in a long time.
Wow.
Here within the Southland. We probably won't see it before the end of this current season, but soon thereafter.
Is our schedule laid out? Is the Lions 2025 schedule set?
It is. It's set. We've got one non-conference contract we're still waiting to get finalized, but I mean it's going back and forth between the attorneys now, all the deal points and the dates and all that set. So once we get that set, it'll kind of be officially done. But I would say that it is complete at this point. Yep.
Man.
So we're excited about that. And then we did talk a lot about basketball scheduling as well. And so I think as we start to kind of put that into form, We could see even more conference games. We could see less non-Division I opponents. So again, and then there's some bigger things going on in the larger space about, what do we do with those multi-team events and how do you count those? And, does everybody just play 31 overall and, between conference and non-conference and go from there? So, but that was a really good discussion as well, and so excited about what's happening next with basketball. So that was just, again, that was just a full day.
Yeah.
That was a full day.
Nothing to it. I had a bag of chips and a sandwich and sent him on his way.
There it is. Yeah, totally.
All right, man, we got to go. We got to.
I guess we do have to go.
We do have to go. I mean,
do.
you had something else about scheduling you wanted to say. Was it about any future opponents, or was it just the general conference kind of look at?
No, I think it was a little bit of that. Just giving a little bit of insight into some of the conversations that were going on, both on the football and basketball side. So I'm excited that we were able to get those schedules done. Again, we'll be able to get schedules out really for all of our sports here for that 2025-26 year sooner than we probably ever have.
Amazing.
And so I'm excited about that.
We're doing that right now, just so you know.
Yeah,
I mean, I never saw a basketball schedule before last year until like sometime in October.
Well, I know you're going to talk to the basketball coaches later, so you can maybe just, nudge them a little bit.
No, they did great. It's just, just trying to get it all pieced together.
That's
So
exactly right.
know which bus to get on.
I was talking before we got on here. I know we got to run, but there's been so much going on that I was talking to Avi earlier, and he was like, we were like, hey, is there anything we need to touch on in this? And, I want to talk about meetings and stuff. And he said, well, you could talk about Oklahoma. I said, well, that was like a while ago. He goes, no, that was like last week. And I'm like, oh, that was last week. Okay.
That was a full house over there at the John McCain Family Softball Complex.
We had a great crowd at volleyball the next day. Soccer had a nice crowd. Football was a fantastic crowd, and then if we had a lot of people enjoying tailgate as well. Heck, if we would have got all them in the stadium, it would have probably
we saw a little bit of that from our perch.
But it was great though. I'm glad all those people, even if they didn't make it in the stadium, they got on campus, they enjoyed it, got to reconnect, and so I'm happy. I'd love for them to come in, but if they're out there having a good time, I'm just as happy. To be honest with you. And so, but yeah, so we. I will say this, and I said this to Clint. I didn't have both teams making a 50-yard field goal in the last 2 minutes of the game on my bingo card.
Those are tough squares to catch.
Yeah, that was. But, heck, credit for the guys for fighting that whole way. Again, we're getting better.
Long distance, Luke.
That was something else.
That was a kick.
That would have been good from 60.
I know. It went forever.
Yeah. All right. I know we got to run, but, look forward to catching up next time.
All right, folks. That's Jim Curry. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We're Lions, and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. We've got head men's basketball coach Jarrett Von Rosenberg with us tonight. Get ready for this, Coach. We do it all week, every week. Well, not all week. We do it every week, though.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to you yet, so that means we're right around the corner of our season.
It's close.
And, we've got a bunch of practice. I think today was practice number 20, and it's dwindling down to our opening night on November 4th.
All right, a lot of new faces on your roster. Have they peeled off the name badges yet? Everybody knows everybody by now?
Yeah, now obviously in Division I, where guys have been here since June 4th. Most of them, anyways. We added a couple late. But, a couple returners, added 10 new faces from junior college and a couple of Division I transfers. So excited about the roster, excited about how they're competing so far, staying relatively healthy, and hopefully that trend continues.
Outstanding stuff. Do you get any has anybody lifted an eyebrow for you in camp that you didn't expect?
I think I give our staff a lot of credit. They did a great job recruiting the type of players that we wanted to have, and then the quality of our young men is unbelievable. We've already done over 250 community service hours amongst our team, and these guys, they're not, dropping their head when they have to go do something. They're excited about it. They're excited about getting in the community, and they're meeting a lot of little kids and giving them somebody to look up to. So assistant coaches did an unbelievable job, the whole staff, in finding and attracting these guys to our university, and I couldn't be more happy about basketball and individuals we have.
All right, very good. Well, you talk about the number of practices you've had already. Coach, we're coming up on the first game here before long, and it's going to jump out of the blocks fast.
Yeah, absolutely. We got one more opportunity this weekend against another opponent, which will be good for us. The more tape we can get against different people, playing yourself, you kind of sometimes don't know. You really know each other's tendencies, and but getting to compete against somebody else was really good for us this past weekend. It gave us a lot of good film to build off of, and hopefully we'll have the same thing from this Saturday. And it'll give us – and this is the first time we've ever actually been able to do 2 scrimmages. Stuff happened with injuries last year where another team had to cancel one of our scrimmages, and then we played an exhibition game, and we were able to win it big, but we kind of want to see our deficiencies as well, so we get an opportunity to work on them before we go up against, last year was A&M and then Tech, and we just weren't ready to play basketball for a lot of reasons, but we weren't ready to play in those games. And you saw towards the end of the week, Kentucky looked a lot better. Just getting film and guys seeing where maybe they think something's going to work and it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
right? And you try to tell them that in practice, but until they get stopped or look foolish, I guess is probably the better word to look at it. Then they smarten up a little bit. But so that's a really good. I think the quality of play on day one. We'll have plenty of mistakes, obviously, but I think it'll be a little bit better than it's been on the opening nights the last 2 years.
You've guided this team through the transition into Division I. I don't remember there being all these extra, even the super secret scrimmages that y'all are getting now. How does that work? How many did you get compared to what you're getting now?
You get 2 opportunities to play outside competition. You can do an exhibition, or you can just meet somewhere and scrimmage. And we've done 2 scrimmages. I like that because you're able to play extra time. It's not just 20 minutes and go home. So
right.
You're able to do some special situations if you want. You're able to play an extra 10 minutes to make sure everyone in your roster gets an opportunity to get in there. So I like the scrimmage aspect a little bit more than I think an exhibition game. And so as long as we can get them and have, there's a lot of opponents around here, but we got to make sure that we can get the scrimmages, and I think they're good for us.
As soon as your guys get to Monday of next week, so they get through this weekend, Coach, you're a week away from playing Iowa.
Yep, absolutely.
And a few thousand miles.
Yeah, so we're digging into our opponent this weekend, and then we'll probably spend about 48 hours on that film, and then we'll dive right into Iowa and get ready. And because of the 3 games in 5 days, which I guess we've become accustomed to around here, we'll have to prep at least as a staff for all 3 games going into the week, and try to get our guys as prepared as possible to know what they're going to see on offense and defense from Iowa.
That's going to be incredible. How many other teams go through a meat grinder like you put your guys that first week with 3 games against high-caliber opponents?
I'm not sure.
It's riveting stuff. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, it's just the opportunities. Next year will be the first year we actually know how many conference games we're going to play before we start scheduling.
There you go.
We're going to have a lot more information going into the scheduling. But a lot of the teams in our league have to play a pretty tough schedule. Everybody kind of handles it differently. I actually like how the schedule falls for us this year. We have a lot better breaks in between. Obviously, we play these 3 games. Then we'll have 5 days before our first home game. So we'll get to heal up and from all that travel and everything, and then find out where we're deficient from in those contests, and then hopefully have a really good showing on opening night at home.
So if you look at everybody's schedule in the Southland Conference and see who had the preseason polls came out a week ago, top 25, and the Lions are playing the number 13 team in the nation, preseason poll, A&M Aggies, and that's going to be a special night. And then when we go to Connecticut and play UConn, that's the number 3 team in the preseason polls. There's nobody that's taken on 2 teams higher ranked than that.
Great.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. No, well, we're playing UConn a little bit into the season.
Yeah.
They might be number 1 by the time we get to play them.
True that.
It's going to be a really unique opportunity for our guys and for our program. It's going to be on national TV on Fox Sports. So it's we're going to see the big lion head, big gold lion head bright, and hopefully we can play well and come out and be competitive.
All right, so you had 4 extra conference games added to the schedule from what we had the last 2 years, with the late addition SFA and UTRGV coming in. You had to lose anybody on the schedule you were building?
I wish. No, we didn't.
No, you didn't lose anybody?
We didn't lose anybody.
Oh, okay.
No, we got we don't play a non-Division I this year. It's 31 Division I games. There's no doubt in my mind we'll have the number 1 strength of schedule in our league, possibly the country, especially early. But the guys came here for a reason. They want to, they want the bright lights and they want to be in those environments. And hopefully we can shock some people in some of these games and win 1 or 2 of these games that we're going to be picked 1% chance to win. So we've had a track record of being able to do that here, and hopefully that continues.
You get a recruit in here and they look at the schedule printout and they see all these ESPN games, of course, but then they see SEC Network a couple of times, FS1 for the UConn game, and even the Big Ten Network for our opener. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. No, it's guys want to play professional basketball after this, and there's no better film that you can put on than going at some of these opponents and playing well. And if you get enough guys to play well, that means your team's probably doing pretty good. So we're just we're a long ways from there. I know it's on a piece of paper it's close, but we're a long ways from Iowa, and we got a lot of work to do till then.
All right, Coach Dell, we rarely talk about the staff, but you haven't had too many changes on your staff the last couple of years. You lost Coach Yo, but you brought in Jared Courtson and added him to your staff. Everybody else is there. Yeah,
we added 2 new guys, Jared and Matt Scott. Jared comes to us most recently at West Virginia. He was on the Huggins staff, and then he's come on. He's really added a lot at a different part of the country. He's an Ohio native from a recruiting standpoint, and then brings a lot of, I want to say, toughness to our program, being in a Huggins program for so long.
I was going to say.
Rebounding, and, he actually said we foul too much, and I was like, are you serious? You're coming from – so, no, but it's good. It's always good to get different opinions, especially for somebody that's been – able to sit and talk with the Hall of Fame coach so long. So he's been a very good addition to our staff. And then Matthew Scott's the most recent addition here in the last couple of weeks. He comes to us from the junior college ranks, coached in Division II in Lone Star, and he's just going to bring a ton of knowledge, ton of junior college recruiting connections, and then just been around the game at a lot of different levels for a long time.
All right. Coach, can't wait. We're getting so close. It's November's a crazy month.
Yeah, when Avi said I got to come on, that means it's right around the corner.
Exactly.
So I'm excited for it.
All right, folks, line up. We are going to have some more for you on Inside Lion Athletics when we get back after this. Everybody, welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We're joined now by Ashley Gordon, head coach of the Lion soccer squad. I should mention that that's the first place Lion soccer squad, sitting all alone atop the Southland Conference. Coach, there's 2 games left to play before the tournament. Any of that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we head to Incarnate Word tomorrow, and it's obviously a very important game. I mean, any game that we have left is important.
Yeah.
And we got to come out. We got to come out. And we need to score early, I think. But we're going to be playing a good side. Incarnate's a team that is really organized. Excuse me. They've got a grad student who. Is a very good player that's a goal scorer that we need to be able to shut down. But they like to be able to move the ball, so we're going to have to be organized defensively. And so obviously this week in training, we have been tackling all those details. So excited about that. We can't even look beyond this weekend. I mean, we finished up the season with Houston Christian, but like I said, it's all about us on Friday night.
It was all about your squad in the last game against Lamar. What happened?
Can I first start off with McNeese?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
absolutely, you
can. Yeah, so, I think
we can go out on the high note.
We can go out on the high note. So let's talk about Lamar. So, obviously we were coming off of a really great win on Friday night against McNeese. But when we headed into Lamar, unfortunately in the first 40 seconds after the kickoff, we gave them a goal. And so, then we shot ourselves in the foot just about 6 minutes later where we took down their best player in the box. So they converted a PK. We were losing 2-0 going in a half. We talked about, first of all, we have to quit fouling their best player.
Right.
And, going into the second half, it was all about we just need one goal to put us back into the game, be able to pin Lamar's ears back. And Lamar was coming in with a desperate win. I mean, they have actually been struggling all year scoring. And unfortunately, in the game against Lamar, we gave them another 2 goals in the second half. Again, we fouled their best player who converted another PK. And then we had a defensive error that, again, we gave them another goal. And although we were able to convert 2 goals, Cadence Ramirez scored against Lamar, and then we had Kay was actually taken down in the box, and we were given a PK. And Hannah Bell converted that. So anyway, it was a 5-2 match. We outshot Lamar, but again, we gave them 4 of the 5 goals, and you just can't do that. All during conference play, we had only conceded 4 goals in conference, and so. I think when you look at it, and then obviously giving Lamar 4 out of the 5 goals, it put us in a position where we had conceded the least amount of goals in the Southland Conference to then really killing ourselves on Sunday. So.
Well, all of that, sometimes you can have that great big win like you had against McNeese, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah. And the team's just hasn't completely gotten over that one and ready for the next one mentally. Is that some of it?
I don't know. Like I said, we were, I don't think it was a concentration issue in regards to the Lamar game. Again, we're playing against a team that was desperate for points, but when you get scored on in the first 40 seconds and then 6 minutes later, you give a team that's a decent side, obviously, a PK, it's a problem. It was a talking point before the game that, they have a player that absolutely is a threat to our back line. And, when we gave them 2 PKs and we took her down in the box, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So anyway, lesson learned. But, Friday night's game against McNeese, really, really happy. We were in control of the game the entire time, really. Had 2 great goals in that game. Chris Schultz actually scored, and that was her first goal of the year. Very, very proud of her. She has been, a threat all around the box on set pieces and then, of course, through the run of play. She's a player that has clocked 90 minutes every single game for us. She does not come off the field. The work that she does and just intangibles of being able to cover ground is incredible. And so she's a very important, piece to our team. And so she scored a great goal against McNeese. And then, we had another the second goal was actually an own goal that McNeese has scored, but Savannah Powell was great coming in off the bench and caused McNeese all sorts of problems. And because of, our ability to run at the goal and get into the box, we converted an own goal. So, but, the shot, like I said, the shot count was, 24-6 or something like that. We were completely in control of the game. So, I was excited how we played, obviously, on Friday night. Not so much on Sunday, just for the fact that we again...
One got away from you.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the drawing board this week.
Yeah.
Again, I told the team we've got to put that game behind us, and we got to get ready for Incarnate Word. So
you got to like having a little more space between games here towards the end stretch of the regular season.
Yes. And so, Charlie,
getting
really
some people back, huh?
We have. So last week we had everybody back in training. outside of our season-ending injuries. Same for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can get a lot of things accomplished in practice when you have where we have our team, and then we also can present the scout team and be able to address those tactics of what we need to be able to do. So.
All right. Okay, so there's 2 games left.
Yep.
You play both of them on the road in San Antonio and in Houston on November 1st.
Yes.
So, if you're down in Houston way for Halloween, you got something to do the next day.
Yes.
But then it'll be the tournament. And right now, the way this is Wednesday before the last 2 weeks.
Right.
Lions are in front by 1 point over 2 teams that you not only have a point advantage, but head-to-head.
Yes, So when you look at the standings right now, of course, we've got the head-to-head on Stephen F. and Southeastern and Northwestern State, which are, we're all
they're another 2 points back.
Yes. So we're all right there, and then of course the next one in line is UTRGV, and we tied them. But in regards to goal differential, goals for, we would have any sort of tiebreaker over UTRGV. So long story short, we can't control what everybody else has to do. We just have to go into this weekend in Houston Christian, and we need to convert 2 wins and have a lot of confidence going into the Southland Conference. And the only difference going into the Southland, or once we get to the Southland tournament, because of our new members with UTRGV and Stephen F., there are no buys.
Okay.
So all 8 teams will make the tournament.
1 through 8 seeded.
1 through 8
plays one.
and seeded, and give kudos to the Southland listening to the head coaches, because the other difference this year is that we actually there's an extra day of rest between the semifinal and the championship, which I think will be huge for the two teams that are competing for a championship. I think that's going to be huge.
Awesome stuff. Is there any possibility of any kind of play for your squad after this tournament?
Not this year, just due to the reclassification.
Right.
Obviously we cannot make the NCAA tournament. But I know, as Jim has mentioned, there's going to be a vote in January, which could change things for fall of 25, which will be huge. It'd be huge because, we've got, all of our leading goal scorers, by the way, are still here, 25 and 26, Charlie.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like that a ton.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I do.
Time flies when we're having fun, and we always have fun talking win soccer here. Coach, good luck against UIW on Friday. We'll be watching from Houston.
Very good. Thank you.
Lines up.
Go
See you in a
Lions.
minute, folks. We'll be back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. We just keep rolling. Pretty much everybody on the staff getting to play this week with us. Got Coach Clint Dalzell, the A&M Commerce Lion football team. Coach, tough one at home. Still good stuff to pull out of that one. Luke Jackson finally got a chance to let one fly, and was that 52 yards he nailed that?
It did. That was a little scary because we hadn't made many of those. We've been bouncing PATs off the goalposts and all that stuff up until that point for the most part for the year. But, it was nice to see. Feel good about that. Confidence in our kicker that we can, kick a, 50 or below plus. And he banged that one through there pretty good. It had some distance on it. It had been good from another probably 5 to 8 yards. So
and with all the repetition that he got on extra points the week before at Natchitoches, all of a sudden you look like you got a confident kicker out there.
Yeah, it makes a difference. If we can cross the 35 somewhere in there and know that we're in scoring range with our kicker, that's nice. That's a good feeling to have.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the game this weekend with Lamar. 2 on the road, 1 at home with the Cardinals, and we got 2 more to go before three games to round out November. But that's not where we are yet.
Not yet.
What did you see in the Lamar game? What was most frustrating to you in that one? What looks most promising out of it?
Yeah, we started slow. I don't know what we came out with not a lot of energy. That's not like us. We usually come out and they're ready to go. The hair's on fire, and we started slow on both sides of the ball, and and got a little behind, settled into the ball game, and made it a ball game towards the end. I think I mentioned last week the first 1 to 20 wins, and they got the 21st.
Yep.
But
did not think about that.
It was
right.
It was a good football game. We knew it was going to be a tight football game. We felt that way in every game we're playing the conference. We're good enough to win, but we got to learn how to win, and we just hadn't figured it out yet.
What did they pick up any lessons Saturday? Surely they found out they can come back from a multi-touchdown deficit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we feel good about our kicking situation. We came out of that. We find a way to somehow botch a special team somewhere in there, and we had 10 men on the field, and they fake a punt at the same time. So unfortunate, bad luck there at that point. But we got to not have 10 men on the field. So when we have injuries, our communications just got to be better. We had Brooks came out with an injury, and nobody replaced him on that particular play. And therefore, we have a hole over there, and they call a play at the right time and make a big play out, and then they end up driving down and scoring when we were about to get the ball back. So we've got to fix those mistakes. And, for me, we got to figure how, at the end of halves defensively I'm good with bend and not break, but we're bending a lot too much. We're getting them down there, and they're having big chunks. In my opinion, I thought they were running the game out. Or at least going to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
They had one timeout left. They're on the 35, and they run it, and we don't get him down. He gains 20, 25 yards, and he gets out of bounds too. That's just a bad combination. Unfortunate. We've got to make the plays when we're there.
Very good. All right, we have a trip out of conference this weekend. We'll be down playing Prairie View. It's been a while since A&M Commerce has gone against the Panthers.
Yeah, no, they're a solid football team. We've watched a bunch of film on them. They obviously beat Grambling in the Cotton Bowl. It was a good football game. I think it went to 5 overtimes, something like that.
I saw that.
Yeah, they can put up some points. Their defense is, almost identical to our defense. They like to bring 5, 6, almost every play and play man behind it. So we got to be able to protect and do some, rub route, pick routes, and get some guys open and play catch.
They're going to be wondering who that number 0 was.
Yeah, KJ.
Pardon me. KJ Schenkel made his debut, and wasn't a poor one.
No, it wasn't. It was nice to see him out there. He's battled that injury, his foot injury, all year long, and finally said enough's enough. I'm going to play, and whatever happens, happens. And he had a good week of practice. We limited his reps, and we'll give him a few more this week. So it's exciting to have him back.
How did Ron Peace grade out with everybody for his performance this week? He seemed like he was a little.
He was
more composed, but still, working on the passes.
Yeah, it's still, about having him not see them open and throw them, on time. Early in the game, he was just holding the ball a little bit, and then he settled in and did beautifully. We didn't run the ball very successfully for the most part. Our play action was still there though, and we hit some balls downfield. And obviously Christian had a really good game, and catching the ball for us. He's our down the field threat for sure, and. Happy to see him do well.
Christian Jordy, you brought him up. He was grabbing all of them. I'll tell you somebody that we didn't see until a kick return, I think, was Nick Johnson. Where's he been? Has he been 100% or not?
No, he's probably done for the season. Yeah, he actually in the game we played at home a couple weeks ago when we opened up the game with the little screen into the boundary, and he went for 15 and they stripped it out. He hurt his foot right there and kept playing through the game, and it progressively got worse. And then looks like he had to have surgery on it, so he's out.
Oh, great, Scott. All right. So next up, let's see. We get back to conference the following week, and
McNeese.
that will be at McNeese.
Yeah, we got to get through Prairie View. Obviously, we know this is a big game for us. Morale's still good for us. We had good practices both days this week. McNeese has had some, bumps and bruises too. I know the quarterback hadn't played in a couple weeks. They got thrashed pretty good by the Incarnate Word. And just talking about that too. Prairie View played Incarnate Word a couple weeks ago, and they were up 14-9, with about a minute to go in the first half. So they're a good football team. I hope everybody's not overlooking Prairie View because we're not.
Hey, what do you think about these games between our conference and the SWAC? I love it. The geographic footprints
It's
are
good.
just too close. I mean, it makes so much sense.
There's no reason we shouldn't be playing. Our whole conference is playing, those games, and they're great. I mean, there's some good football, talent in there, and they're well coached. They're playing well, and they play hard, and we're their homecoming. Like I said, I think we're everybody's homecoming, so it'll be a big crowd and be a rowdy crowd.
All right, well, we'll see if the Lions can go down there and spoil their homecoming.
Let's hope so.
All right. Folks, thanks a lot. We'll be back with more. Coach Val is going to be here with us in a little bit. Keep it on Inside Lion Athletics. Hey, everybody, welcome back again to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood, joined now by our women's head basketball coach. How you doing, Coach Val?
I'm doing great, Charlie. Thanks.
I know you're great because you're so much closer to the start of basketball season at last.
That's right. It's been a long few weeks.
Tell us why. just you can't wait that long?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, you're just practicing against each other, for 5-6 weeks. So, I think we're ready to play somebody else, see somebody else in a uniform.
Well, tell us how your super secret scrimmage went. Was it Fort Worth? Y'all went over to TCU and played some people over there?
Yeah, we went to the Athletic Performance Ranch over in Fort Worth, which super, super awesome facility, and scrimmaged. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
Texas Tech.
Yeah. Nobody went, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was really good for us to kind of pinpoint where we were, what we needed to work on, some things we needed to get cleaned up, and kind of just see where we were as a team. At first, you look at the date, and I think it was October 13th, and maybe think it's a little early, but I liked having it that early. That way we have, we've had almost 10, 11 practices again until we scrimmage again on Friday. So gave you time to change up a few things, clean up, right? That's correct. So, really proud of our kids when we went over there. We competed on the defensive end, and that's, I think that's something you and I have talked about, and it's a lot of the stuff that we talk to our kids about right now was changing our defensive mindset over the summer, and it held true. So that was good. All right. So what change did you have to make in that mindset? I think just making sure they knew that defense is, a huge part of the game. We're going to score. We're going to put the ball in the hoop. But, if we want to win more games, if we want to win the big games, games that are super important, we got to play better defense. You saw Texas Tech in a regular season game, non-conference, of course. We didn't move into the Big 12. But, Coach, what did they think about your squad? That was a different bunch that you took up against them in the scrimmage. How different were the Red Raiders? Built the same way. I mean, they still press. Coach Gerlich has been there for a while now, and they have their system in place. So they're built the same to me. They've still got really good guards. They're big on the inside. They're super athletic in that 4 spot. Again, that was the reason I wanted to scrimmage them, because I knew they would cause us some problems, especially them pressing, their length on the perimeter defensively. And I wanted to see, how we would compete against that. Krista Girl, I think you could take any team that she's had and then just go back 10 or 15 years when she was at West Texas and say, yep, that's one of her teams right there. That's correct. Yep, that's correct. So. All right. Well, Coach, tell us this. The polls came out, and A&M Commerce was picked 6th out of the 12 teams in the Southland Conference. How'd you feel about that, and how'd your team feel about it? To be honest, I mean, we haven't even talked about it. I think polls are polls. I mean, all the teams are so different now with transfers in, transfers out. It's hard to gauge how good a team is going to be, without knowing personnel. So to be honest, we haven't talked about it. I think it's, we're gonna show everybody what we are, and it'll show on the floor. So it's never bulletin board material. We put it up here and say, look what everybody thinks about us. I think everybody uses it to some extent that way, but, I mean, we haven't yet. Well, there's 6 teams behind you that would use it for bulletin board material, and then the teams ahead, you're going, you want them to catch up to you? Or that's correct. Right. Yeah. All right, so your team's going in. We're less than 2 weeks away from your opener on the 4th. Right. And we've talked, you had one player that is probably out for the year, but everybody else is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, one out. Ari's a big hit for us. Her size and athleticism and stuff was why we signed her.
Sure.
In the spring. But she'll get recovered and be ready to go next year. But everybody else. I think it's just like 5-6 weeks of practice, and just little injuries and stuff bugging them. But we've held out pretty good through those weeks, and we're just really excited to get out and play somebody.
Yeah, Jamie DeCoke, she was one of those that was injured early last year in game play.
Yes.
But she did that, recover all year. Now she's back. How's she doing now?
Yeah, she's been awesome. I don't really want to
give away any secrets?
No, not that. She's been really good. Her recovery was, she was awesome in it. She took it seriously, and she had a deadline when she wanted to be back, and she got there. Mercedes got her there. Our doctors got her there. So, it's great to have her back, to be able to put her out there and rely on her again.
Tell you what, another one it's nice to have back. Jordan Newsom, listed as second team all conference in the preseason honors. What do you think about that, and how big is Jordan going to be to this team?
Yeah, a credit to Jordan. She, again, going back to last year, she had a great year. She's had a great summer, not only like on the floor, but also just being one of the leaders of our team, and showing the new kids and the freshmen, the way we do stuff. So, she's been a huge, huge piece of, us moving forward this summer. So, super happy for her.
Good deal. All right, Coach, how about the schedule? I looked through everybody in the Southland. There is one school that's playing two teams that are ranked in the preseason top 25. Mm-hmm. Can you guess who it is? Or do you know this off the top of your head?
I don't. I know we're playing one.
It's UNO of all people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But all the rest of the schools that are playing top 25, they just play one.
Okay.
Like us.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't dug deep into the schedules like that.
That's okay. You just wanted them to return your call and give you a game, right? It's not hard to. It's not easy to make up your schedule the way you want it. What were you looking for in particular? And
I think where we sit right now, regional games are a big thing for us. Mm-hmm. Trying to get those opponents, and we'll have a couple more next year that we're working to schedule. So getting Abilene on the schedule for a home and home was huge. Getting Texas Southern, I think was really big for us.
Okay, so we no Wazoo or no Idaho coming down to see us this time.
That's correct. No.
All right. Well, we're not going back there either.
I hope not.
All right, Coach. 7 minutes flies by fast when we're having fun.
It does.
We're going to be doing this a lot, even during the season. So we'll figure out. We may get real creative. We got Avi and Mirage and everybody. They know how to do all the technical stuff.
That sounds
so
good.
We could do this show from different locations.
Okay.
All right. We're good.
I'm all for it.
All right, folks. Lion fans, we're all for the Lions, too. See you next week, folks. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Inside Lion Athletics.